We're back in the lockdown void, making lockdown videos. Um, this is the second part to the Quest for Dominance series, and it is going to be about pressure. It's one of my favorite things to inflict in Jiu-Jitsu. It's also something that is talked about a lot in different nomenclature in Jiu-Jitsu. So you have pressure passing, uh, intensity, creating pressure on people that way. I'm looking at it from this episode in a more scientific point of view, the actual pressure. Um, if I was to give you a coin and a thumbtack, so a coin and a thumbtack, being what you push posters into a cork board with. If I was told you to push both into that cork board, which would pierce the board? And it's the thumbtack. Even though you're pushing the exact same rate, why does one go in and not the other? It's because your pressure is focused into a tiny point on the thumbtack that is on the coin. Can we carry this idea over to Jiu-Jitsu? Yes. The human body is made up of multiple corners. We already use one. Knee on belly. We use the sharpest point of our knee and we drive it through that sternum. It's too much mirth on our behalf. But that's not to say we can't do other things as well. So I always try and avoid being the coin when on top. I try and make sure I am the thumbtack. So you have your knees. You also have your hips. I have relatively sharp hips. I have evolved these for jiu-jitsu purposes. You also have the corner of your shoulder here. It's quite sharp. Your head here is quite visible, especially from north-south, and your elbow. And whenever I'm moving around, I try and make sure that is in contact with people and not something coin-esque. So my general torso, my gut, or something like that. And I make sure my weight is focused onto those points. The greatest paradox is you're never going to feel your own side control. You're never going to know the misery you can inflict on someone. And so a good way of learning this is to get feedback from your partner, and it's usually going to be via screaming, or more importantly, ask them to do it to you and give them feedback and make them move so it hurts you more. That I think should be an important part of jiu-jitsu anyway. Of if you want to know more about a position, don't be a dead training partner. Be an active one and give feedback and ask them to do more that you think, right, I want to know more about this technique. It's the only way I'm going to feel it. But as I'm moving around side control, mount, north, south, I'm always trying to focus those sharp points into my partner. I also want to take away their structure off the floor. If I allow them to put their corners into the floor, so their shoulders, their elbows, and their feet, they can kind of disperse the pain across that point and push back against me. So if I can, I usually lift their shoulders off the floor, and so they have to accept their weight, my weight, into their soft, squidgy parts, sternum or something like that. It means when you're in side control and mount, not being completely parallel with them. You have to move around with your hips and your shoulders. It definitely takes a lot of feeling for this, but it's a way that you can increase the amount of pressure you have going down someone despite your size. If you are of the 110 kilo plus population, please ignore this video. We don't need any more pain. But if you are 60 kilos and you want to feel like someone who is 105 kilos, this will definitely help you. Final part to increase this kind of pressure and take away their ability to move you is taking their spine out of alignment. A basic way of doing this is, as you're moving around, manipulate their neck. A spine that's in alignment allows them to lift fully. So if you imagine doing a bench press, you have your spine entirely aligned and you lift. If you take your spine out of alignment and then try and do that same lift, you're barely going to lift anywhere near the same amount, half, a third maybe. use that to your advantage in jiu-jitsu. Make them tilt their head forwards, tilt their head down, tilt their head sideways. Use your shoulder or whatever to do this. At the same time as being angled and driving those sharp points into their body. All of a sudden, you can make this 70-kilo person 110 kilos or feel like it and inflict the same amount of pressure holding them down. After that, it's just going to be on your bone balance that's going to help you. If you take into consideration the first video I did on this about moving someone's armpits, that will also help. But this is a basic scientific intro into actually how to make yourself appear heavier in jiu-jitsu. I will try and find a way, maybe, I don't know how good my editing is, of one of the wins I got in jiu-jitsu that's videoed, where I tap someone just with shoulder pressure into their side in a competition in Israel. Much to the surprise of everyone watching, they were unsure how I did it. I then had to teach this. Please comment whatever the usual process is. Please visit the Discord channel and look out for part 3 of this. Thank you.